Chapter 4. Never read the comments. As one who aspired to be the fairest of them all, Evie didn't need to advertise the fact by wearing the word fairest emblazoned all over her t-shirts, but it didn't hurt. She was seated at her desk in her and Mal's bedroom that afternoon, in front of their matching poster beds and frilly pink curtains that Mal so despised. The wood-paneled walls were decorated with the smiling portraits of Oridon's past princesses, as if to remind Evie of her goals. She brushed her long, dark tresses until her blue highlights shone and pursed her lips, checking her reflection with her phone's camera. She tried out a few poses for Insta Royal, the latest lifestyle envy inducer that was a big hit with the Oridon set. It was all about showing off the newest and hippest fashions in glass slippers. Glass mules with puffy bows were all the rage, and the plush interiors of private carriages. Plump satin cushions sewn by Cinderella's hard-working mice were the most popular upgrade. Even though she'd only signed up a few weeks ago, Evie already had a lot of subjects and enjoyed collecting their bows. Evie much preferred Insta-Royal to Zapchat, its grungier counterpart, which was all about sharing glimpses of Oridon's less-than-perfect side. Photos of the tourney team chugging pumpkin juice, for instance, or embarrassing pictures of princesses kissing frogs, and not the type that turned into handsome princes like Prince Naveen either. She was scrolling through her royal feed when her phone began shaking in her hand as the floor rumbled with another earthquake, and she accidentally tapped on a photo. It was one that Doug had posted earlier from band practice that he captioned, "Feeling dopey." She texted him, "Hey, did you feel that? Shake, rattle, and roll." Unlike Mal, she'd gotten used to the occasional rumble. Evie went back to her zaps and checked the comments on her photos to see if there were any new ones. In Oridon, the compliments were always plentiful and kind. Ooh, there was a new one on an old photo she'd posted of the four of them standing together and facing down Maleficent during the attack at the coronation. This was the moment when they had defeated the evil fairy with the power of good. It had run in the Oridon Times, and it was one of Evie's favorite pictures, so she'd reposted it to her account. There was something so inspiring about seeing them bravely standing together while facing the great dragon face of Maleficent. It reminded Evie that even if they were from the Isle of the Lost, they were just as good and courageous as the princes and princesses they went to school with, and that during Oridon's darkest hour, it was the four villain kids who had been able to keep everyone safe. She found the new comment and read it eagerly. To her surprise, it wasn't very nice at all, and had been posted by a user she didn't know. "There's no place for you in Oridon. Go back where you belong. Return to the Isle of the Lost at once, before the young moon shows its face," it read. Ouch! That was rude and weird. What was the deal with the moon? She was still staring at the screen when Doug appeared at her doorway. "What's up? Ready to grab a bite?" he asked, looking adorable in a bow tie and suspenders. He made the same funny face that he'd posted to his Insta Royal feed. Doug was no prince, but a prince for her own heart. He was the sweetest, nicest boyfriend a girl could ever ask for, and he could dance like nobody's business. "Sure," Evie said cheerfully, putting away her phone for now. She was still upset by the mean comment, but a girl had to eat. Evie knew she would feel much better on a full stomach, and she could show the comment to Mal later. Mal would know what to do about it. She always did. Speaking of Mal, she entered the room just as Evie and Doug were about to leave. "Evie, glad I caught you. I need to show you something." "Oh, Mal, I have something to show you too, but we were just about to go grab dinner," Evie said apologetically. "No, this can't wait," Mal said, shoving past Doug. "Eat later." Her green eyes were flashing dangerously, and it was obvious that she was particularly annoyed. Evie hadn't seen Mal act this way since they'd first arrived in Oridon, when she'd scowl at everything. Even if she was in a rush, Mal shuddered at the sunlight streaming through the open window and closed the pink curtains once more, just like she had done on the first day. Some things never changed. Evie looked nervously at Doug, who had his eyebrows raised. Go ahead. I'll catch up later, she told him. Somehow she'd already lost her appetite. Whatever it is, I can help, he offered, because that was the kind of guy he was. Mal rolled her eyes and put her hands on her hips. Sorry, Doug, but I have to talk to Evie privately. This isn't about mining jewels. As you wish. See you later, Evie, said Doug, who promptly left them alone, whistling as he went. So what's up? Asked Evie, turning to Mal and walking over to sit on her sewing machine. Doing something with her hands always calmed her down during stressful times. Mal didn't answer immediately. She watched as Evie carefully pushed fabric under the needle. Is that your castle-coming dress? She asked. That color's pretty. Yes, said Evie. You really think it's pretty? She asked, momentarily distracted by the compliment, and running a hand over the glossy fabric and smoothing out the stitches. The dress was royal blue, her favorite color. With a deep red bodice with color of poison apples. Very, Mal said. Yours is ready. I put it in your closet. Not as many ruffles this time, like you wanted. Okay, so what did you have to talk to me about? Evie said. Mal removed her phone and swiped to the screen with the strange message. This, she said. Look. Evie read the message, her face growing pale as snow for a moment. Someone left the same message on my Insta-Royal account. She handed Mal her phone with the offending comment on the screen. Mal studied it, frowning. Who do you think it's from? Asked Evie, feeling goosebumps on her arms. That had to stop. Pebbly skin was so not attractive. I checked and the user's anonymous, and their account is private. I have no idea, said Mal, biting her lip. And by the way, why does it talk about the moon? Asked Evie. I don't know. At first, I thought the comments were only meant to be mean. But since they mentioned the moon to both of us, I wonder if there is more to it than that. Maybe they actually do want us to return by a certain time. Evie read the message on Mal's phone again. Yours says it's from M. Yeah, I see that, said Mal. And my mother used to count moon days rather than day days. Evil fairy habit. Evie crossed her arms. In their world, there was only one M that mattered. It can't be from her. I mean, she's a lizard. Lizards can't type. How can she be M? I don't know. Maybe it's not her, said Mal hopefully. But what if it is, whispered Evie. And who else would want us to return to the Isle of the Lost so badly? Mal said. It has to be from our parents, Evie squeaked. You really think so? There's only one way to find out. You still have your magic mirror, don't you? Let's ask it to show us our parents. If my mother is able to get out of that pedestal and turn back into herself, maybe it'll catch her in the act. Evie removed the shard of the magic mirror that her mother had gifted her with before she left for Oridon. Show me Maleficent, she demanded. The gray clouds in the mirror's reflection parted to show a lizard snoozing peacefully under glass. Both Mal and Evie exhaled, relieved. What about your mom? Mal suggested, just to make sure. Evie nodded. Show me the evil queen. But instead of showing evil queen happily tweezing her eyebrows or shading in the mole on her cheek, the mirror stayed cloudy. Evie tried again. Magic mirror in my hand. Show me my mother. I command. Still the mirror's cloudy swirls remained hazy and swirly. Evie shook it a few times and even banged it against her lap for good measure. This isn't good, she said. It's busted. This has never happened before. When she asked, the mirror wouldn't show them Corella Deville or Jafar either, remaining stubbornly gray and fogged in. How about asking it to show us Evil Queen's castle, Hell Hall, and the junk shop? Mal suggested. Maybe that will work. Evie did so, and the mirror cooperated this time, but there was still no sign of any of the three villains. The castle was empty, Hell Hall abandoned, and the junk shop deserted. That's strange, said Evie. It's not like they go anywhere. She was starting to have a dreadful feeling about this. Mal wasn't ready to give up quite yet. Ask it again, she urged. Evie tried, but no matter what, the mirror remained cloudy. Maybe it's broken? She asked hopefully. No, it was working otherwise, Mal pointed out. Something else is going on. Something that might be connected to the messages we received today. Evie stared at Mal. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? That Corella, Jafar, and Evil Queen are up to their old tricks on the Isle of the Lost, and that Maleficent might be involved somehow? Totally, said Mal. Evie found she couldn't breathe for a moment. She was glad she hadn't eaten anything, or else she would seriously throw up right now. We don't know who sent us those messages, but here's what we do know, said Mal, straightening her shoulders. She didn't look frightened anymore, and Evie took comfort in her friend's courage. It gave her back some of her own. The villains won't rest until they exact vengeance on Oridon, said Mal. And it's possible they've hidden themselves until they can put their evil plan into action, Evie finished. Evie, we've got move fast, said Mal. On it. Let's go get Carlos and Jay.